Hi, my name's Lindy Cowling. Welcome to this channel. My website is www.lindycowling.co.uk. My email is info@lindycowling.co.uk. And the way to contact me for sessions, booking, media, or any other thing, the way to contact me would be via email, please. So that's info@lindycowling.co.uk. The title of the short video this evening is Quantum Entanglement and Twin Flames. Quantum Entanglement and Twin Flames. So in terms of the definition of referencing twin flame being aspects of same soul experiencing life, experiencing form through more than one human body at the same time, in a balance of masculine and feminine experience, masculine and feminine energy. So let me repeat that for the point of definition: twin flames being aspects of same soul experiencing human form in more than one body at the same time. Where quantum entanglement comes in is if you are in that percentage of people that are part of the twin flame union template, the twin flame union template being a frequency, a vibration, a blueprint, a template, one of the primary templates that's frequency, that's blueprint, act of service wise has been used and is being used and has been successful and is being successful as providing that pattern, that blueprint, that template, that vibration, that frequency for thousands and then millions of others to imprint on, to be part of new relationship paradigm, new relationships on this planet, relationships that connect across the board in all capacities, starting from the top, spirit energy first, soul energy, coming down then into the physical consideration of energy as the last thing on the list, i.e. the age difference, the last thing on the list, the culture, the last thing on the list, the religion, the last thing on the list, the society, the last thing on the list, the country, the last thing on the list, and all of those criteria. So quantum entanglement, where it comes to twin flames, is regardless of the physical distance, or regardless of the length of time of physically being out of communication or physically in separation. When we say separation, we mean not seeing one another or not communicating, not being in one another's lives. As regardless of the distance or time involved, The quantum entanglement aspect means that there's still a dialogue, there's still a communication that goes on in vibration and frequency and knowing. And in some ways, we could describe it as that dance of particles, that divine dance, but that dance of particles, that even though there is not communication and there is separation, that the other aspect will have downloads, uploads, knowing, and a mirroring of adjustment at that end of the seesaw. So let me try and I'm explaining a complex thing here as simply as I can explain it, trying to explain it simply. It's like two ends of the same seesaw. Even if there is no linear communication, no verbal communication, no seeing, no texting, no social media communication, no actually physical engagement or seeing one another, by the nature of what they are, there is an upload, a download of communication, a knowing, if you like, of what the other end of the seesaw or the other polarized form, the two polarized forms, because twin flame union, the twin flame template, the genuine template and union is a polarized state for most of it until it comes into a harmonized form down the line as part of that process. Even when out of communication, there is this uploading, this downloading, this knowing, and this altered state in both ends of the seesaw. So if one end of the seesaw, if one twin flame alters their evolution in some way, their process in some way, there is an automatic shift, shall we say, or opportunity, shall we say, at the other end of the seesaw. And sometimes there is a mirrored or almost polarized form of that shift at the other end of the seesaw, but it does take place. I can give you a simple example. Twin flame union, twins completely out of communication in, let's say, indefinitely, long period of time. One gets rushed into hospital with severe abdominal pain, left side rib. The other twin that has been out of communication with them at the same time, on the same day, in the same few hours, breaks their left rib, exactly the same place, and only gets to hear that the other one got rushed into hospital with severe abdominal pain in the days that followed, and then put two and two together. Now, this is a great demonstration of quantum entanglement, where the particles, the electrons, the physics, the frequency, the vibration, the blueprint, the template, whatever you want to call it, it's all of those things. It's not one of those things, really. It's all of those things. The mirror to that, the twin, the complement, the other aspect of same soul, having a response virtually identically, almost like when you hear of real physical twins, i.e. a mother giving birth to twin babies, and they can have same illnesses at the same time, even if they're not in communication or in different countries or whatever, same points of their life. You know, there are even recorded cases of twins that were separated at birth and adopted and go and marry wives with the same names, name their kids the same names, get the same jobs, and then they're hundreds of miles apart, and they find out towards the end of their lives actually that their lives are followed an identical blueprint, identical. You know, which is fascinating, isn't it? But this is all to do with the maps that are laid down astrologically, numerology. Again, it's all to do with blueprinting, templating, you know, wired into that certain soul plan, if you like. It's very, very interesting. Again, it all interrelates to what I'm talking about here. And this quantum entanglement that I described there, excuse me, need not just apply to twin flames. This applies to any primary connection. So a big primary connection you have could be a big primary linear family connection, or a big primary soul family connection. It could be a soulmate, could be, you know, anyone that relates to you in a kind of capacity that bridges all these aspects, the quantum physics aspects, the soul, the spirit, all of these things across the board. And where it's interesting is that there is this knowing and this rate of vibration and frequency and this dance going on, and often in a polarized state. So you will see it in one form one end and one form the other, or echoes of it one end, echoes of it the other. But the interesting thing is if and when the twin flames reach 0 point, another word for that would be a harmonized state. And I said if and when because it is a long process, and many genuine twin flames take some time to reach that state, or don't reach that state, or they seem to provide the template or the active service for others to imprint on it to reach that state. But there are some twin flames that do reach 0 point, shall we say, but they're few and far between. But the ones that have are adjusting continually. They're doing this dance continually to balance it. For the ones that do reach 0 point, or for ascensionary soulmates that activate in 0 point, for the man on the street, the guy on the street that activates through their own process at 0 point and gets to that point of evolution, the interesting thing is when all of the above get to that state, 0 point, it is at that point that imprinting takes place. Imprinting is available to all. When you reach a point of 0 point where you're an automatic catalyst for others, in a way, that's a byproduct of it. Others can imprint on 0 point, and it can be multiplied to an infinite amount of possibilities. Multiplied, we're talking about multidimensionality here as well, and it doesn't then have to remain as the original activator, or the original two, which are really one anyway. It's multiplied, and this is how others can imprint on twin flame union as an act of service, and this is how others can imprint on that frequency, that blueprint, that template, because once you hit 0 points, there is a change here, and everything is multiplied then. It doesn't remain in the original form. It can go on. While I'm on this similar subject, so I'm only going to make this short because I know this is quite a complex subject, and I only share from experience. Again, it's an experiential channel. It's a humanitarian channel. It's purely from experience, my own experience, and 17 years working in the industry, and also the experience of my clients. So it's always through direct experience one way or another. And so I have to have assimilated it, or have got my head round it, as well as my heart sometimes as well, before I share it. While we're on a similar subject, I will mention also that it's a bit like being a tuning fork. And lately I've referred to myself many times when I've been working with people as a tuning fork, basically putting out a certain pitch, a certain frequency that people can align with, which really acts as a catalyst upon other people. Now, that is a natural byproduct of going through your process of evolution. It's a natural byproduct for everyone, really. You can get to a stage in your evolution where you are a natural catalyst for others when you are offering out a particular frequency. And I've said this before on earlier videos, templates within templates, all the templates are kind of connected, really. You know, you can be a template, and then by someone connecting to you, it kind of forms another template, and then all the templates, it's like a patchwork quilt, they're all kind of connected up, really. What I will say when I'm talking about tuning forks is just like there is a tuning fork, so there's a recognition, for example, with twin flames, that pitch, that frequency, that tuning fork. When things are on form, that is it's perfect pitch. When the process is going through its various stages, of course, that can be unbearable, and I describe in earlier videos. Hearing clairaudiently the appalling noise that the soul makes when there is a clash there, when there are two aspects of same soul and there is a clash, and the tuning forks are not doing what they're aligned to do, and that is the noise that literally drives you crazy, actually, absolutely crazy, when that's off kilter. It's hard to describe what that noise is, but if I were to lock you in a room and run my nails down glass windows for 3 or 4 days non-stop, how that puts your teeth on edge, how you would be, your whole system would be jarred, really, and freaking out. It's like that. And when I experienced that, it wasn't only that, it was something inside me, and that was going kind of crazy or doolally. Other people around me could sense that sound and hear it, and it actually made them feel sick and have a pounding headache. They could pick up aspects of it, of what was going on in me, and that was a direct reaction to the tuning fork of a polarized form of a connection with me that had become extremely polarized. So that was excruciating at that point of time. So the tuning forks within you, when they are in sync and in alignment, so to speak, that frequency and that vibration, it flows really beautifully and really easily. When they are knocked off kilter by a variety of things, you know, life experience, emotion, events, our mental body, emotional body, you know, whatever is kicking off there, circumstances, it can cause extreme distress, actually. It's important to bring this up because it's more, let's call it more than the distress you get with let's call it a more conventional connection. Because of this quantum entanglement, because of the actual physics of twin flames, because of that process of bypassing so many of the normal boundaries and this connection on levels that is hard for people to understand and articulate, when things go out of whack, it can have quite an extreme reaction on the energy field, on the person, on the personality of the person. Equally, when things are on track, the opposite is true, you know, and it's literally miracles happen. It's amazing. Miracles actually do happen, especially where we're talking about creation. And so I'm only just like touching on this, really, simply because, like I say, it's quite complex, and I'm just trying to explain it simply, and I don't really share anything that I haven't got half a handle on myself or haven't experienced myself. But I just thought it was very interesting. So just to summarize before I close this, quantum entanglement is even with periods or indefinite or, separation between connections such as, for example, twin flames, twin flame union, there is a knowing on both sides of the seesaw. Even if there has been no communication or is no communication, there is that polarized version of energy, that mirroring, in the lives. Sometimes it doesn't have to be identical events, but it can be a polarized extreme of that event, like again, like night and day, light and dark, that kind of thing. It can be like that even. But because of the quantum entanglement side of it, that is part of it. But if, because not all twin flames get to 0 point, but if you get to let's call it the same, I personally feel harmonized state is 0 point, and we're talking about the same thing. Not what people call harmonized when they're just saying a word and they're not really harmonized at all. I'm talking about genuine twin flame union that hit harmonized state, not many people that say, oh yeah, they're harmonized now, and they're talking about something completely different. You can not only sense it in someone's energy, it stands out a mile if they're genuine twin flames in a harmonized state. For those that do manage to reach that, that they don't plateau, they continually reworking and rebalancing and processing, and for them, processing for the collective and everything else. But if they do reach that point, it's at that point then that there becomes infinite possibility. It's at that point that others are able to imprint on them as a template. It's 0 point is also when other people going through the process that has nothing to do with twin flames. The only connection they've got to twin flames is perhaps they imprinted on the act of service template that was laid down for humanity. Others of new relationship paradigm, they may activate already at 0 point harmonized state, and of course they have an infinite possibility. So at that state, it's not necessarily the one, it's an aspect of one, because there are many aspects of one and constantly multiplying, if you like. It's a fascinating thing, and again, this all links in with it all. Really, what we're talking about here is quantum physics. The physics of twin flames really is hugely implicated in quantum physics. And in fact, when I look back at most of my YouTube videos in the last few years, especially the later ones, most of what I'm talking about here is implicated in quantum physics. And I didn't even know I was talking quantum physics until recently. It was just coming through my explanation of what I get and how I experience it and how I see it in others and how I read energy. But it is quantum physics. So again, I just hope you found that interesting. It wasn't actually the video I was going to bring out today. I was going to bring out a very different video on this. I suddenly felt drawn to talk about this one. So I hope you found it interesting. And if you are experiencing something like that, what I'm talking about, that is part of the reason why, while that frequency and vibration is running the way it is, why you, even if you don't realize it yourself, there are, it's two ends of the same seesaw, really. I often call it two ends of the same seesaw, or I call it the liquid in the same test tube. Sometimes it runs down that end, sometimes it runs down that end, or it balances out sometimes in the middle if you're lucky. Or if you're, way into your process kind of thing, it balances out within you, or it balances out within your connection. And I just think it's really interesting, the overlap between the energy there and the actual kind of physics of it. Anyway, I hope I wasn't waffling too much there, because I didn't plan this and I didn't really have any idea what I was going to say before I came on here, and it was not the video I was going to bring out. So I hope you found it interesting. I hope you're all doing well. lots and lots happening, isn't there? Lots of change, all moving so fast. But you know, we're all on track. We're all on track. I will love you and leave you as usual. Thank you for subscribing to this channel. Thank you for the lovely feedback, and I look forward to seeing you again soon, guys. Loads of love. Bye, darlings. Bye.